go from there. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our team call. I didn't make the pictures for shouting people out this week. I'm on my on my iPad, and I just here. So, if you're already at Success Club, will you shout yourself out in the chat box? I know I am, and so I'm really excited for helping people. And I know that Team Fire Away, you guys had a challenge group sneak peek starting today, which is awesome. I'm in it and it's great. And Team Let Your Light Shine has one starting tomorrow. And this is the first one that we are running as well. So I'm really excited about that, and just really think that 2017 is our year. And I just feel all the passion and the vibes and everything with everyone and everything that's going on. So I just kind of felt like there's been new coaches being added to the teams, and I feel like Shakeology is a really scary, almost a scary thing to talk about at first, even though you've been drinking it for a month now, at least I would hope. It's still like, you feel kind of icky, right? Like, I know when I first got started, I was like, I never want to sell anything to anyone. I didn't even get Shakeology in my first challenge group. I was someone who was super skeptical and was like, no, I don't need that. And I just started with the programs and cleaning up my diet with taking out dairy and bread and gluten. And so I feel like Shakeology was something that was hard for me to talk about at first because I didn't even get started with it. I signed up as a coach with the T25 Challenge Pack, which had Shakeology, but when I got Shakeology, it was vanilla. And I personally think vanilla is disgusting. And so like I tell people that, like, that's the thing, is like, you can't like tell someone that you like vanilla and you don't, because they're going to get it and they're probably not going to like it. Just personal, like, yeah. So so my personal is that, like, the ones that I love, because I've tried every single one to know how to make it. I love the cafe latte with just the vanilla almond milk. And Lauren makes it really good with like cold brew and stuff. What's your guys' favorite recipe or whatever? I want to know. My favorite, because I love razzmatazz from Jamba Juice, is the green berry with raspberries and some orange juice and water and ice. It's so bomb. And then I also love the vegan chocolate because it's just a little bit less sweet than the normal chocolate. And I like that. I like that it's a little bit less sweeter. So I don't know, but I just have my personal preferences. I think everyone does. And I think that that's okay to accept and have, and tell people, tell people the flavors you don't like. Be honest, because you're not going to like every single one. And if you do, that's awesome. I wish I did. I think the only thing I can drink vanilla with is like coffee, and even that I'm still just like, ugh. So, and that's fine. And same with programs, right? We all have our jams. We all have our niche. So with that, I wanted to let you guys know, if you don't know already, there's a Shakeology podcast. If you have an iPhone, the podcast app, download Shakeology. And I actually have it right here. Does anyone ever listen to it? There's also the podcast for the Team Beachbody coaches, but it's called Inside Shakeology Podcasts. And there's 13 episodes. So if you haven't ever looked at that or thought of listening to those podcasts, if you ever run out of personal development, you can just go and play one of these podcasts and learn more about Shakeology. Because I think that, like, even, with programs, I haven't done the whole Turbo Fire program, and I didn't do it at first before Beachbody On Demand was out, and I could just do it whenever. So I looked in the FAQs. So there is a whole training thing about Shakeology on the back office. So if you go to your news and trainings or training toolkits, it's right in there. It's the first one, actually, in the first box. At least it was when I popped it up on my phone. And we could screen share, I guess. And okay, yeah, show the podcast. I wonder if I can get because I opened it on my phone. I should have opened it because I have it right here. Like, so the first one is getting started as a new coach. The first few weeks can be overwhelming. To help you focus, we've compiled the top 5 tools to help you quickly become a Shakeology expert. So there's so many resources in the back office if you don't feel strong, talking about it strong. And I can also, I wanted to talk about kind of how I say what I say when I'm talking in conversation with people. But let's look at the podcast really quick once Alexa gets it popped up. There's also so many YouTube videos. So when I'm talking to people and I'm at that point of telling them about Shakeology, I always use third-party resources. So I even actually told someone the other day about this podcast that was skeptical about Shakeology. I was like, you know what? Beachbody has a whole podcast on Shakeology. Why don't you go listen to it? Like, what do you have to lose? Like, that's so amazing that like Beachbody literally has 13 episodes that they can go hear from the creator of Shakeology about these things. Like, we don't even really have to do that much, like besides getting to know them. Like, I use all of these resources because I just feel like people can benefit from them so much.
Can I just say right here, like, look at this, episode 13, you guys, why drink Shakeology instead of a cheaper shake? How many of you guys have had that objection or had somebody say, like, do I need this stuff, or I think it's expensive? So listen to this, because this will give you all the information you need so that you can feel confident in responding to that question and that objection. I really think that something that really will help you build your confidence in conversations, you guys, is knowledge. Is like Amy Silverman talked about this morning, being a lifelong learner, like always learning, education. You know what I mean? Because that builds confidence. And when you're confident and you're like, I know how to respond, I feel good about why you should drink Shakeology instead of a cheaper shake. Your response will come across so much more like positive. You know what I mean? Like, that person is going to be like, oh shoot, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Versus if you aren't confident in yourself, or you are like, oh, actually, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not confident or you don't really know the answer to that question, then that person is going to feel that through the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So educate yourself. Use these resources like Emma's talking about. You guys, all these episodes are like 10 minutes-ish long. They're really not that long. If you were to go through and listen to all 15 or 16 of these episodes, you would have so much more knowledge on Shakeology. Like, give yourself a goal of listening to one of these a day for the next 2 weeks, and boom, I bet you between now and the next 2 weeks, your confidence level in talking about Shakeology is going to skyrocket. Sorry, I didn't mean to like interject, but I just had to share about that.
No, that was, yes, because, and that's the thing, using these resources to learn. Like, I don't know how many times I've sent the YouTube video of what Shakeology is. It's like 4 minutes long on YouTube. So when I'm talking to people about Shakeology, I don't just like bring it up all of a sudden. Like, if someone comes to me and asks me about it, I'm like, I would love to tell you more about Shakeology. Can I first ask you a few more questions about yourself and your goals, so I can better help you reach your goals? I don't just, like, I used to just automatically like say what I needed to say. It was like, oh yes, you get this, this, and this, and this. And Shakeology is like 70 superfoods with like probiotics, all of the stuff that's in it, and this long thing. And then I was like, why am I doing that? Why am I not just sending them these videos that Beachbody has literally created for us? Like, it's so much more simple. So when I'm talking to them and they're like, it's hard for me to make, so I talk to a lot of moms, right? And so they're like, it's really hard for me to make breakfast, or I'm really tired throughout the day, or, I just really want a junk food snack, or they have kids, right? I always am telling them about my experience. So yeah, it's the best thing, because in the morning when I'm running out the door for preschool, it literally takes me 3 minutes to make, and I'm good. Like, I drink Shakeology throughout my morning because it fills me up like it does. And so I'm drinking it on the way to Bentley, dropping Bentley off at preschool, or I have a craving at night. You can literally bake Shakeology. So I love having chocolate on hand because I love baking things with it. There's like the no-bake cookies. These are all things that you guys can make to post about as well, not just like your Shakeology and your Shakeology cup, but like baking with it, or, if your kids drink it, or maybe highlighting something that you love so much about Shakeology, like you don't eat junk anymore, like I know it helped Alexa a lot with that, and me too. And having more energy throughout the day. I was just talking to one of the girls that was taking pictures of me, and her her sister's a coach, so she got Shakeology through her sister. But I was like, I just wanted to know, because she told me, I saw her the other night, and she was like, oh, like, so I thought I was gonna go off of Shakeology, after a month, but I decided I'm gonna like do it again next month. And I didn't really get to talk to her because there were so many people, so I texted her. I was like, so why did you decide to stick with Shakeology? Like, she's not my customer, but I genuinely want to know, because I believe in Shakeology, and I think everyone needs to have it in their life. And when you have that mindset, it comes off like that to people. And she was like, oh, it sounds really dumb, but like, I really don't need coffee in the morning anymore. And I know I heard that from people, but like, I didn't actually believe it and like think that would happen. And I was like, yeah, I stopped drinking Starbucks for 6 months after I started drinking Shakeology. One, because I was buying Starbucks every single day, and Shakeology is cheaper and it gave me energy and it was way better. So having these experiences for yourself, which is why you need to be drinking Shakeology every single day, will help you be able to influence more people in your life. And like, don't just like, go through 1 month and be like, oh, like no one wanted Shakeology, like I suck at this. Like, okay, if you're having that pity party, go read a personal development book and stop saying that. One, it's probably because of the way you're coming off, and just reevaluate what you're doing. Have a reflection in the mirror and be okay with that, and be okay with growth, and be okay with failing forward. You think me and Alexa just came here and like knew how to do all this stuff? Like, we blurted out messages. We did things wrong too, but we learned from it and we didn't stop. Okay? So if you know what Shakeology can do for you, why are you hindering it and keeping it to yourself and not sharing it with the closest people around you? Don't you want your friends and family to live a healthy lifestyle? Lying about it. It doesn't mean that you have to be up their butts, but it means that you can share what it's doing for you. And when I'm talking about it in the challenge pack aspect, I used to say, like, I think I used to say, like, you get this, 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 and this for $140, right? But if you break it down as Shakeology being the main sole purpose of this challenge pack, it will have a different perspective, and like it will make a different implant in their minds. So instead of what I used to say, and I learned this from Lauren, I used to say, you get the workout program, your meal guide, 30 days of Shakeology, the containers, blah, 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 for $140. I say this month you get Shakeology for $130. And if you get, and now I actually say, if you get Beachbody on demand, it's $70 more. And so many more people go to that because they're like, oh, I'm getting, and I say too, Shakeology is $130, which is normally $4 a day. I put that in parentheses so they kind of get it broken down, because I feel like when people see that $130, it kind of scares them. But when you put it into perspective on it's literally $4 a day, they're going to be like, oh, I spend that on Starbucks, and that's more. So it puts it more into perspective instead of just having it be that whole month, which I think people don't understand. It's like buying in bulk, right? Like when you go to Costco, basically, or like having a Costco membership. So putting into perspective like that, and then having that be like, okay, and then they get Beachbody on demand for $70 more for the whole year. I did the math. That's like $6 a month. So it's like, if you put that into perspective, like, okay, and you're getting Beachbody on demand for literally $6 a month, which is worth $6,000 now, because you get every program, you get Fixate. Then I tell them what they get with Beachbody on demand, right? And then, so when I'm talking about the Shakeology part, when I go to the nutrition, that's when I send them the videos before I get to that message. So before I get to that 130, all that, when they've told me, like I said, what they've struggled with, I go back with what Shakeology's helped me. And then I say, if I sent you a 4-minute video on what exactly Shakeology was, would you watch it? And you know what really baffles me, and I realized this the other day as I was talking to someone, she messaged me about the price of Shakeology. And of course I said what I usually say, yeah, I would love to tell you, but do you really know what's in Shakeology? Like, do you know what it is? She's like, no, I was just looking for the price. And I sat there and thought to myself, and I was like, so you're telling me you don't care about what's in the things that you're buying? And I feel like so many people are like, oh, like that podcast, cheaper shakes. Yeah, there's cheaper shakes. And you know why people buy them? Because they're cheaper. It's not because they're looking at what's in them. If they knew what was in Shakeology, they would not be buying those cheaper shakes. Let's be honest. Trust me, I'm a single mom, okay? I don't have all these finances flying in. I'm trying to get out of debt. I get it. I don't have all the money in the world either, and Shakeology is an investment for me. I'm not sitting here on this team call saying that, I have all the money in the world for Shakeology. I'm struggling too, okay? But I still make the investment every day because I know what it's done for me and my kids for the last 4 years, right? So you have to learn about it and know what it's doing for you. And you may not see it helping you for the first few months, right? But if you're doing it consistently, you will. I feel a difference. There's days where I don't drink my Shakeology, okay? Who all here skips a day of Shakeology sometimes, right? We all do. And how do you feel? You feel way worse because you don't have those natural superfoods that your body starts to crave when you drink it consistently. My body knows when I haven't had it because I have been so consistent, right? So be real with yourself and learn about it, and let's stop being so scared to talk about what Shakeology is. Like, I could talk about it. Like, I don't care if people ask me about it, and I'm confident I'll talk about it, and they can believe what they want to believe, you guys. And that's another thing. Like, if they say no, it's just a not now. And if you haven't read Go for No, I highly recommend reading Go for No. It's a really quick read. I think it's literally $5 on iTunes, and it's awesome. It changed I need to reread it, actually. I was just talking to some girls earlier saying I need to reread it. So I'm curious, what are the most common objections that you guys get when it comes to Shakeology? Like, I want to help you guys right now. Like, what are some messages that you get that you think are most common? And we can think of something. I can help you, and me and Alexa can right now. And I really think using these podcasts too expensive. Yeah. Okay. So I want you guys to try how I worded that. Alexa, you word it like that as well, right? How do you word it? Like if you get Shakeology this month for $130, you get this. Because when it was challenge packs, I was saying, the price of the program, but I've only been talking about Beachbody On Demand All Access now. So that's why I say that, and they still want it with the Shakeology. And I think just putting into that perspective helps. So how have you guys been approaching I don't drink smoothies? Yes. Funny that you say that, because I was super skeptical also. So I don't know, Crystal, if you've ever had an experience like another like, I don't know, like Advocate or Herbalife or something. Like, I didn't want to do that either, right? And so they don't know enough. And that's another thing that we learned, me and Alexa learned at our very first summit. Oh, I'm so glad I'm remembering this. And I actually have a video on this. I recreated this whole seminar that Tommy Migrant and Mike Ryan did at Summit. And they were talking about how the main reasons why people have objections is because either one, they don't know enough, or two, they don't trust you. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's so true.
Can I just say, side note, I 100% agree with you. And I still, like, a lot of my coaches who I have conversations with can probably like quote exactly what you just said, because that still is in my brain from our very first summit. Like, I remember sitting there in that room and watching them do that presentation. Oh my gosh. And this is just a side note. This is why getting to events and getting to Summit is really important, you guys. Like, seriously, we don't talk about this just to like take fun pictures. Like, I still remember that from my first year, and it's what helps me overcome objections. It's the reason why Hitting Success Club is just a consistent thing now, because I've learned how to overcome objections, and a big part of it was from what we learned in that seminar. So I just have to say that. Sorry, keep going with what you were saying.
No, that was great. Yeah. Okay. So too expensive. Yeah. So for the too expensive, I want you guys to try that approach with, and I can, share it in the team page or whatever, how I write it, and you guys can make it your own, always make these things your own. The I don't drink smoothies. I think going through those podcasts also, Lindsay, what was yours? Yeah, they wanted the difference from a $30 powder Walmart right there. That podcast will tell you everything and I should go listen to it too. I haven't even listened to that. So, listening to those podcasts and being knowledgeable. But yeah, so money is the main issue. And so I just feel like they don't know enough, or they just don't trust you enough. And that's okay too, because they will. That's what I mean by don't stop after a month. Because yeah, if you stop after a month, then they're just going to be like, oh, like, yeah, she didn't like it either. Like you kind of just continue, right? Not kind of, you have to be the product of the product and just stay with it and keep sharing it, because it's not like I had a flood. Like I know Alexa posted in her team page the other day about how, like, she's made it to a point where people are messaging her now, right? And I'm the same way. And it's like, well, we didn't start there. Like, we didn't start at that point where people were messaging, and we still reach out to new people. Like, we're still sending out invites, but yes, we have some people coming in, and you guys will get to that point. You guys are, the only difference between me and Alexa and you guys is just time, right? And the same with me and Alexa and like Lauren and Sarah. It's just time. It's the same for us. We're just in a different spot, and that's okay. So just realize that, and if you guys ever have objections, or you're still consistently getting objections, post in our team pages, right? Use the team pages and the files and the resources Beachbody provided. Literally, if you wanted to add anything else, but that's really what I had for you guys. And if you guys want to ask any questions that you have right now, we can open it up to Q&A if that would be helpful. But I just really want to help you guys be more confident when talking about these things, because I know Alexa and I struggled with it at the beginning. And for a while too, your confidence is a huge thing. Personal development, again, huge thing that you need to be doing every day, which helps with confidence. So yeah.
Can I add on to what you were saying about the objections? Another thing that I do, you guys, that's really helped me, really not just with the price of Shakeology, but really with any objection that you get, is, hold on, I'm just making sure. Okay, there we go. Is to make sure, number one, relate back to what they're saying, to whatever their objection is, relate back to them. And again, this is all stuff that we learned. This is still from what we learned at that objections webinar. Maybe we should post that in our team pages tonight, that, because I still have the link to that, how to overcome objections like a pro. That's what it was, with Tommy Migrant and Mike Ryan. But anyways, step one is relate to where they're at. And so what I always say is, I totally understand where you're coming from, because I didn't want Shakeology either when I first got started. And that's the truth. And you guys think about it yourself. Just like Emma said, she didn't even get Shakeology when she first joined. So I'm sure all of you guys had some sort of a skepticism, or maybe you said no to Shakeology at the beginning. So relate back to where you were, and then say, this is the reason why I decided to commit. And this is why I decided to invest in Shakeology. You know what I mean? And so what I tell people is, I say, I totally understand, because I was the exact same way. I actually didn't want to get Shakeology with my first program when I joined my coach, but she really encouraged me to at least give it a try for 30 days. And if I didn't like it, I could get all of my money back. Yes. Do you guys use the money back guarantee? Okay?
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Come on, use that, you guys. Okay, so I say, my coach told me if I didn't like it, I could get all of my money back. And so that made me feel confident in at least, giving it a try. And I'm so glad that I did, because it helped me so much with my cravings. It helped me have the energy to get up earlier and get my workout in. And all of these things helped me so much during my first month. And I share my results from my first month of drinking Shakeology and eating, changing my eating, and I lost 11 pounds. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what I mean? When I share that honest, true story, here's where I was, here's why I decided to commit, and this is what it's done for me. You know what I mean? Then I just kind of say, like, I'm so glad that I at least gave it a shot. And, I really encourage you to also. What do you think? And I ask them again, you guys, like, after they give me that objection, that's what I do. I relate back. I go through that whole thing. And then I say, are you willing to at least give it a try for 30 days? Because Carl wants us to use that freaking money back guarantee. He says it all the time, right? He says it all the time in his videos for that we should be using it. So I have no problem telling people that, because most of the time, once they get into the challenge group and they start tracking their Shakeology, and people are posting their Shakeology every single day, and then they join the next group, they're like, I don't want to be the person that's not, posting my Shakeology picture every single day, right? They become part of the challenge group. Everyone's doing it, and they join the group mentality. You know what I mean? They want to do what everybody else is doing. So, I think that that's important whenever you're, working to overcome objections. But I forgot how key that call or that talk was.
I use that literally like every day.
I know. So. Me too. So, and yeah, just to kind of add on and, close out what Emma was saying. I think the best thing, you guys, that's going to help you feel confident in talking about Shakeology is, just like she said, drinking it every single day. Being consistent with it and sharing it on social media, sharing it on your Snapchat or on your Instagram story or whatever. Show people that you're not just trying to sell this stuff to them. You're actually drinking it every day. You know what I mean? I feel like that's why people don't question me about Shakeology. I actually don't get that many Shakeology objections that, these days, you guys, because number one, I just say that it's included in what what I offer is they get everything. They get fitness, nutrition, support, and it comes with Shakeology. But also because I think that I've laid, after the last 3 years of talking about drinking this stuff on my social media and being consistent with it and always sharing what it's done for me, I think that people come in and they already know that, okay, yeah, I want to drink Shakeology because they've seen me talk about it. You know what I mean? So just like Emma said, with you guys that are newer, and you're still building that trust and that foundation with people. We've been doing this for 3+ years, So the more consistent you are, the more that you continue to share it. Even when you feel like, oh my gosh, here I am sharing my Shakeology again. You know what I mean? No, keep sharing it over and over, because that's what shows people that you're committed to drinking your superfoods. When they get signed up with it, they're not going to hesitate and they're not going to object, because they know that it's part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the more that you educate yourself and understand and learn about Shakeology, listen to all those podcasts, you are going to feel confident in responding back to people. You're going to know why it costs what it does. So you're going to feel good when you respond back, and that's going to show through your conversation. So anyways, that's all I have to share.
No, that was great. Thank you for sharing that. And we only have 10 minutes left on this thing. So, because
any other questions?
Yeah, does anyone have questions? We can do 5 minutes and then. Yes, no, maybe so. It doesn't have to be about Shakeology either. It can be about anything. But
they said at Super Saturday that we're coming out with a new Shakeology flavor this year.
That's right.
Super excited. They haven't come out with a new one since Cafe Latte, which I guess was just last year, right? Was Cafe Latte last year?
Yeah, I was pregnant.
Okay. I guess it hasn't been that long, but still.
Summit? No.
I think it was the beginning of the year, February, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. I remember drinking it at Lauren's house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No questions? Okay. Well, thanks for being on tonight. And I know that we all have busy schedules and stuff, so I appreciate all of you guys getting on. And we will see you again next week, same time, same place, probably. But yeah, thanks for being on, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.
Bye. Everybody.